I believe it's good because with two good cars and good drivers, as we watch Michael Andretti put a lap on Dean Hall and now Matsushita, both with two good drivers, you get double the information. So as long as you have management strong enough, watch Michael duck down the inside here, thought better of it in case Matsushita came over on top of him. But if you have good management, I think two-car teams are better.
There's one of the things that you do have to be careful of as Michael Andretti works his way past Matsushita. Even despite the fact that everybody that comes to this has a lot of experience, you really have to be careful when you roll up to pass someone. Absolutely. Michael Andretti leads his father now by 2.2 seconds. It's maintained that interval for the most part as Matsushita waves Andretti around.
That was good because Mario lost a little bit of time. There is
the battle for third.
See the traffic ahead of him now. He's got an almost unassailable lead. You won't see him do anything stupid as he tries to pass these guys ahead of him.
Very carefully works his way trying to get under Hiro Matsushita, and that's Tony Bettenhausen that's just ahead. Now, we were talking about the Scott Pruitt situation. Right now, he's with Gary Gerald.
Well, Scott quickly away from the car and headed back into the sanctity of the compound. I know this is a bitter disappointment. Tell us what happened, Scott.
John Andretti made a roll into the pits. His crew servicing that car. Jeff Wood also brought his car into the pits, as did Randy Lewis. The battle is at the front of the field. They're averaging near 155 miles an hour. That, of course, is well over the race record, but we're not yet down into a point where we have pit stops or yellow flags, which normally occur during the running of the 200 here at Phoenix.
You can just look and see the traffic problems, Paul. The cars that are coming around a lap are lapping the slow cars pretty fast.
And running in third, Michael Andretti is dropping away.
Boy, look at Ari thread his way through traffic, outside, inside. What a nice run there. Wow.
Sometimes the guys that are getting lapped try to get out of the way, but as you can see from that good TV shot, it's difficult.
Well, and Scott Goodyear tried to get out of the way, and it cost him. They both thread down to the inside, go under Matsushita and Pruitt. And look at Michael. Whoa, look how high he gets. Look at Rick Mears inside Ray Hall. And Mears picks up 5th place.
Now, since we saw Rick leading the race earlier, he's had 2 times in the pits, 2 chassis adjustments.
And look at Michael. Michael's right there, too. Oh, as they work through traffic, where's Michael going to go? He's going to the outside. Wow!
That was a pass. That was a pass and a half. That's been the best pass all day.
That takes nerve.
Up is the air behind. I think we've mentioned several times that these cars are just total aerodynamic.
Sullivan tries, but he gets bottled up behind Matsushita and still continues to fight with Rick Mears.
Yes, it looks like it's just paper that's hung back up on the transmission. Comes out from the tunnels and holding it right there. That's all it is, a piece of paper.
Just flapping in the wind there. Nothing that will affect the performance of the car.
just to have that added little extra piece with a victory. We've seen him win many times. Now he still controls the pack here.
But we have to remember as he comes up on Hiro Matsushita, this is a very tight course. It's already taken its toll in race cars here today. And at just any moment, the slightest mistake, and Ray Hall could be out of the fight. Now he must keep his pace going. For the situation that happened there with Rick Mears, where he had 2 tires go down. The Penske organization has confirmed that was totally a product of suspension. As we watch Mario Andretti closing right in on Rick Mears and making a shot for the lead. Boy, he pulled her right down on top of the curb on that one. Michael comes right down the inside, almost gets into the back end of Fittipaldi's car as he is slowed up by Matsushita just ahead of him. Now they come to the first turn. This will be a dice because both cars have to use the slower traffic ahead.
Emerson is slowed down. Here's the run Michael needs. Look at this. He's right behind him, trying to go down the outside.
Michael Andretti tries his move. Fittipaldi places right center of the track and keeps Michael from making the pass. But Michael tries to the outside. But at the same time, Matsushita moves to the outside. He blocks Michael, not intentionally, but he's there. Now they're both around Matsushita. Ray Hall's pretty good at it as well. And that is figuring out how to move in and out of this traffic.
Oh, there's a traffic jam. Look at Michael. Closes right up on Ray Hall.
They both come around Hiro Matsushita.
Emerson is now being slowed. Look at Michael get away. Emerson will not. Oh, he didn't make it. Didn't get through. That's the car, the Panasonic car, Hiro Matsushita, right ahead of Michael Andretti. We saw him get a puncture earlier on and get buried in that gravel trap. Now he must move over and let Michael through. Oh, Michael goes to the right and Hiro moves to the right.
And John John Andretti has radioed into his crew that occasionally the car is bottoming. That means that it's not riding as high above the ground as they would like. Look at, they split. Hiro Matsushita, and Tracy sees the opportunity, and Tracy moves into 5th place, passing John Andretti.
Or allow Mario to get back on the same lap. That shows you how much Ray Hall thinks about the Andrettis.
Across the line, 4 abreast as Ray Hall gets around Mario. And brand new Penske, brand new Chevy engine running in 4th place. They all perform just a little bit different. In some places, one will be stronger, in others, another will be. And now, Al Unser Jr. and the rest have to deal with traffic.
And yet, only 4 laps left. And look at these cars. They're virtually running just about the same speed, Paul. Look at that.
Danny Sullivan taking advantage of the traffic, comes inside Little Al. Little Al touches him. Little Al spins it.
Risky under braking down at turn 3, because remember, they enter that corner at 175 miles an hour. So if wheels touch at that type of speed,
and Paul Tracy comes around Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi gets caught in traffic, but now Tracy is caught behind Al Unser Jr. as they try to lap him.
Because there was no inkling at all that that would happen. However, the mysterious test that took place at Mid-Ohio several months back was in fact Ray Hall. Oh, Scott tries to slide down the inside of Matsushita. Wheel to wheel there, gets the job done, but it was Ray Hall who did that test. He was very impressed with it.
That is the fastest lap thus far in this race by any competitor. 2 laps to go for Ray Hall. Traffic holds him up a bit, but not very long. Doesn't hold Michael very long either as he squeezes to the outside of Hiro Matsushita. Keep an eye on Robbie Gordon. There is Robbie Gordon as he comes, and look at he and Guerrero as they split. Hiro Matsushita, and now come up behind Lazier. You can lose that lap very quickly here. Here's Ari Leyendyk. He runs in 11th place as he comes alongside Matsushita. Dials it down. He wasn't happy with being forced down near the grass on that one. Fittipaldi and Paul Tracy were battling one another. Tracy had been trying him several times. They came onto the backside, side by side. Tracy looked for any opportunity he had, then darted past, catching Fittipaldi up behind the slower Hiro Matsushita, and got into 3rd place. And the fight continues for the lead. Now they have again slower traffic. That's Matsushita ahead of them.
Oh, this is the closest opportunity Little Al's had in a while.
And let's also keep in mind, Paul Tracy and Bobby Rahal shouldn't have to stop anymore because of fuel. So they're going to become a factor as this race nears its end.
The yellow zones have now begun to clear. Green flags fly here. Danny Sullivan comes out alongside Matsushita. Now, right up here is where Little Al has been trying to make a move for several laps.
They are awful fast here.
Tracy using the advantage of the slower car, Matsushita just ahead of him. And he tries to get down inside a Goodyear, but it won't work. By the way, the pronunciation on Matsushita, that is now how his team says they'd like it used. Once again, here we watch Robbie Gordon and Ari Leyendyk. Their continuing battle, and Ari gets past Robbie Gordon there. Again, Hiro Matsushita key in the battle. Oh, and here comes Gordon right back. We'll stay on this one for a minute.
Now, he just used Matsushita's air to get a good draft right by Leyendyk. Leyendyk should have lined up behind Matsushita right there. He made a little bit of mistake, but Gordon, hey, that kid's learning pretty quick, Paul.
I was going to suggest to you that Nigel Mansell, with his background in road racing, one would expect. Paul Tracy handling a little better going into the first corner.
Sometimes you have to wait. Paul Tracy made that move on lap 2, and it took until lap 15 before he actually pulled it off. But look at this.
Oh, they split around Hiro Matsushita, and now they're back side by side again. Look at how he moves to the inside of Nigel Mansell. Mansell gets caught high behind Hiro Matsushita.
Oh, it's not over yet. Mansell still has, he has the advantage, stays on the high line, but Emerson has his number. Emerson knows he is much quicker than Mansell.
Fittipaldi got caught up by a slower car as well, and now Paul Tracy comes back to battle with Fittipaldi, but he'll get caught behind Matsushita.
First, second, and third, all in a line. The Penske's are faster, but Mansell is a great street fighter at trying to use traffic to his advantage.
Mansell back up behind Matsushita. Fittipaldi closing once again. Boy, look at him make up distance there. Fittipaldi will have the benefit of passing Matsushita on the straightaway and close even further. And in doing so, He crashed as they came back to green. Now here is the yellow.
Watch how close this gets here. Emerson's wheel, look. Turns in, almost locks wheels with Matsushita, and then pulls away.
And with Team Gallus running third and fourth, no anticipated changes for Danny Sullivan, according to Ed Nathman, who runs this team. Rick Gallus has indicated they may go for a slight wing change, more downforce on the front of Junior's car. That should be coming up on lap 76 if all stays as expected.
And as the leader of the race, the 4-car Fittipaldi handles up Hiro Matsushita. Paul Tracy closes right down, but he cannot get past Matsushita and loses contact with the leader. He was right there in attack position for a moment, and then Matsushita's car got in the way. Reaches up and pulls a tear-off away, right, Bobby?
Yes, he certainly was. And look how close they are. They really get it. They're really going to try some past it. Look at Ray Hall all over Danny Sullivan there.
I'm going to say that Paul Tracy thought he had the pole wrapped up, but Emerson Fittipaldi grabbed it at the very last lap of qualifying. Nothing obvious in his times, though he continues well back in the field, and the front runners again begin to encounter slower traffic. And with that, as they come up on Matsushita, it's Bobby Rahal that's being closed on by Al Unser Jr. again.
And this is a great fight here. Now, this traffic is playing a bit of a role here. Matsushita needs to move out of the way. He can't pass under yellow, so no matter if he does move out of the way, they really can't drive by.
All reports indicate that Mansell is satisfied with the car and no report of contact between he and Jimmy Vasser.
Watch out, Junior here. By them for every team who wants them. Look at this, another traffic jam here. Goodyear gets by. Matsushita and Johansson is right there.
Johansson and Goodyear continue their fight. It's a battle for third place. Jan Beekes?
When you look at those gaps, Paul, as far as Scott Goodyear keeping up with Bobby Rahal, you have to look more closely, and that is that Stefan Johansson is coming right up now, 1.8 seconds. What that means is that Bobby Rahal is driving to the fuel numbers. He has backed off. Scott Goodyear has probably not lost sixth gear. He's just having a hard time selecting it. The crew right now is cheering for Johansson as he's closing on Goodyear.
Well, as they come onto the pit straight again, Johansson has Matsushita just ahead of them. There is Tony Bettenhausen, the Tony Bettenhausen Motorsports crew, as they cheer him on each lap, and they watch on the big screen diamond vision that they have here, and they see now that Johansson finally has gotten around Matsushita.
Dell's car, look at Tracy around the outside of Emerson.
Paul Tracy makes his move to the outside, tries to use traffic, but it may not work for him this time. That's Matsushita just ahead. It does work for Tracy. He sweeps well around Fittipaldi, and he picks up the lead of the race. But at the same time, moving in is Bozell as he closes in on Fittipaldi.
Well, he obviously thinks he can be more help to Emerson by getting clear of this traffic at the moment. An interesting move. One of Mansell's strongest points, and we saw it in oval track races earlier this year. He is superb in traffic. Whoa. Look at this. Matsushita gets a shake of the fist from Mansell. Mansell was going to go outside, realized he couldn't do it, inside couldn't do it. Shake of the fist, and away he goes.
Matsushita here in the early laps has been running right down the middle of the track. That kind of move has occurred more than once. Now it's occurred with Mansell, and Mansell was not at all happy with it.
And this is where Emerson gobbled up his lead. Now he follows Al Jr.
Jr. not in contact with Goodyear. That's Matsushita just ahead of him. But again, as Derek suggests, you have to be so very careful in traffic, especially if you're Paul Tracy. And look at Fittipaldi! Fittipaldi pitches it off the course, over the barrier, into the tire wall, and Fittipaldi's race appears to be done.
What they're trying to do is to pass on the inside. That's the good place to pass out great guys. Unfortunately, nobody's been racing down there.
Well, when Michael Andretti comes around to pass the start-finish line this time, he will conclude half the distance of the race. Now Fittipaldi closes on Tracy. And Tracy may be trapped. No, Fittipaldi can't get it done. They both move to the outside.
That's Matsushita. He moves down to the inside.
And here comes Little Al. He'll try to dial around the outside of Villeneuve. Then he comes to the inside on the front stretch. Here we go. Gordon battles with Fittipaldi. You got a glimpse of it for a second. Now to the inside of Jacques.
But what a change in the order of things from qualifying when Raul was on the pole and the Penske's were scattered through the pack to now they're running 1, 2, 3, and he is struggling.
And Raul gets caught behind slower traffic, and in doing so, Michael Andretti gets around.
Seems to me that maybe Jerry Breon saved their guys, their special tires for race day. You know, you're only allowed so many sets of tires during the course of a weekend. And now Emerson Fittipaldi is about to put his car on the pit road for service.
That's what they pay Wally Dallenbach for.
Wally Dallenbach,
the race.
He may have another headache to sort out here. Now Fittipaldi sails past Matsushita. Matsushita really needs to move aside and let this leading group ahead. Oh,
and he does.
That's the way to move aside.
That's a way to do it.
Can he hear me?
But I just want to thank Copenhagen and the team for giving me a really good car today to run.
After the contact with Goodyear, when you came into the pits, did you think you were going to be able to get restarted and get back out to compete?
Well, I wasn't really sure. You know, I know he hit me awfully hard, and I was really surprised because I didn't expect him to be coming in like that. But, you know, the car seemed to hold together, and, you know, that's just really a tribute to all the guys for putting in such a strong car for me.
Gordon's right there. Traffic for both of them.
Oh, look at
Johansson
this.
just ahead. Hiro just ahead of that.
Look, watch Gordon. Watch Gordon.
Gordon's looking for any opening he can find. He'll haul to the inside.
Here we
Try
go.
to pass Mansell. And they scream for the line, and Gordon looks like he has him.
He gets him. He does get him, I believe. You may see the gap here. It is under 10 seconds. There's Rahal. Whoa, 2 seconds maybe.
One car between Rahal and Andretti for the moment. That's the car of Matsushita, which is back and running after his spin. No one who saw it will forget Rahal's little piece of gamesmanship in 1986 when he accelerated rapidly off the yellow at Indianapolis to take Kevin Kogan in the closing laps and win the race. May not get a chance for such magic here, but surely it's in the back of his mind.
And changed his life when he made that move, and also changed Kevin Kogan's life.
Leading the race. They're 1-2. Michael Andretti there, about to lap Hiro, leading the race. Now the question is, will Tracy, if he closes in, and he's only 7.3 seconds back right now, battle Michael for the lead? That will be interesting, and we'll have to see it, because this team operates like the Penske team, which is every man for himself. There are no team orders.
Michael Andretti wants a clear road, and he's trying to wave his way clear. He is well aware that Paul Tracy is closing down. He's trying to get Hiro Matsushita out of his way so he can pull away as fast as he can and get away from Tracy.
The last 6 of 9. So the Canadians are on a tear right now in IndyCar racing.
Robbie Gordon, by passing the leader, got back on the leader lap.
These cars only taking 20 seconds to go around a lap.
There's
really
the fight for the lead as Fittipaldi tries to get inside. Can't do it. But look at that, using traffic. Michael Andretti now onto the back straight. Fittipaldi falls back just a bit. Here we are. We're ready to go back green. Leader of the race is Fittipaldi. He's down to the inside of Cheever. But look at Tracy. Tracy takes the lead away from him on the restart.
Well, there was a deal where Tracy absolutely gambled on going the outside. It was all predicated on the slower cars being in front of him and just snookered him. Emo's got a bad position right there. One of the favorite ways to pass, which is what little Al did to Paul Tracy right there, is lay back.
Whoa, let's see if they all get around. Whoa, hit again.
He got hit by Hall, I believe. Dean Hall.
And now they're all gummed up in there. Boy, gummed up big time.
DeFerrin down on the inside.
DeFerrin makes his move. He gets around Tracy. Now Teo Fabi's going to give it a shot. Fabi to the inside. Lines up behind DeFerrin.
That's a case of getting a run at things.
Whoa!
Boy, it's close.
Through turn 1. Turn 2 now. Right-hander back for 3. Tracy's going to make a move. And he spins him, and Tracy gets him.
That was inaudible. You can't do that going into turn 1, but so many times. And
that's Hiro that lies just ahead of them now. Let's hope that he's very aware of the leaders closing on his position.
Needs to move aside. Hopefully he'll see the leaders and move aside. Caught the wrath of Emerson Fittipaldi yesterday during qualifying. Emerson said he ruined both of his laps on a new set of tires, waved his fist. So hopefully he'll move over.
So could this be the lap? Matsushita sitting just ahead as Al Unser Jr. closes in but gets trapped. Hiro traps him, and that's going to give Villeneuve a good opportunity to pull away. And with a very tentative move, Unser Jr. moves alongside.
He wanted his man, Villeneuve, to have been up front ahead of Gougerman, and he would have been if everything had gone right.
Rahal's already picked up a second of that lead. He's cut it down to 7. So even if he's turning the same exact lap times, it would be hard to, you know, cut it down. He would hold it, but he is going to be really pushing now. So
well, you see Michael here, of course, he's in heavy traffic too, so he's losing a big chunk of that. He's behind Hiro Matsushita, and you already saw him shake his fist. Hiro has a reputation for being slow on the track and not noticing the people behind him. There he is, you see. I mean, this is the kind of thing that drives Michael Andretti out of his mind. There, Hiro saw him and he's through.
As he's closed down and is now really worrying Robbie Gordon. And Teo Fabi has been closing in as well with some slower traffic just ahead.
And traffic can be a factor here because the difficulty for the traffic is moving offline. There is so much rubber and debris. You get yourself in trouble, but this is the battle here. Al Jr. right now is the fastest man on the racetrack. He currently has the fastest lap.
Yeah, but look what Matsushita has done to the front of the field. First, second, and third is closed right down on top of the leader, Jack Villeneuve. He enjoyed a little bit of a lead, but right now he has got Rahal right behind him. There you go, all the way through fifth. They're all right together, and it compressed in that one hairpin. Interesting, his path through racing and into this team as the second driver, and then they realized how really good he was. Something that a lot of Californians have known for years because he's raced all over that state, and of course is a veteran of IndyCar. 6 laps to go.
And it just goes to show you, if you keep plugging away out there, you can do it. Even look at what happened to Michael early on in the race, lost a nose.
Hiro Matsushita just disappeared from your screen. He continues to lap at a sharply reduced pace onto the backstretch. Right now he has the lead. Jimmy Vasser closing up just slightly. And now slower traffic. Hiro Matsushita. Michael Johnstone tried to use him to scrape Jimmy Vasser off his tail, but in fact Vasser gets a run at him, gets up on the high line.
Parker got caught out in that one. Matsushita up in the racing line, going way too slow. Couldn't run the normal line coming off of 4. Had to drop down low, cut the RPMs.
And look at Blundell run up. I wonder if Parker Johnstone has a problem.
He handles up Gugelmin. Moves to the outside. Looking for a hole on the front stretch.
That's Gilles DeFerrin in the bright yellow car.
And the earlier nemesis for the lead. He comes by Hiro. As they come up behind Hiro and look for offline position to get around him. That's going to bottle things up a bit. Well, Hiro could become a key factor here now. There he goes offline. Good move. Because I think if he hadn't, Paul Tracy was going to take a shot anywhere he could find.
Hurta's car. Well, obviously, Bobby Rahal also has some of that same new wind tunnel work that deflects the air around the rear wheels from the side pods. But Brian Hurta had a new front wing that Rahal did not. I asked Bobby about that. I said, you're the boss. Why don't you have the new piece?
Boy, there is. And who's going to run out of fuel and who can make it?
Well, that's the big question, but the big thing right now, I would imagine if they're stretching it, they've got to turn it down and conserve fuel a little bit for Gilles DeFerrin. But the other thing was that Alex Zanardi stopped for a splash of fuel. Probably losing some air to that nose. If he's got a little bit of a push there, that disturbed air will give it to him worse.
That was Hiro that he just flashed past there to show you a difference in relative speed. Talking the first 2 cars in the championship. Leader already closing down on Hiro. Boy, this could be a factor right here. But you still have to be now. Hiro sees him, lets first and second by.
Bobby's going to get in underneath him. Keep flat spotting those tires. They'll get a little square on you and make a very uncomfortable drive around here. And this track is already rough enough.
I think that bunch there was all as a result of them trying to get around Hiro and all running so close together. So he bunched them up. You got another glimpse of him as another group came in just behind him.
It was so tight. No, it's Jan Magnussen. Look at that. Locked in, get its turn, stop, and look who benefits from it all. Paul Tracy slips right underneath him in that red and white car.
Magnussen started 19th, is now 11th. Golly, that was Hiro's car in the middle of that again, too. Again, everybody tight coming through the hairpin.
And guess who that slower car is? I mean, he's got to have a problem. You know, we talk about these slower cars and back markers and all that. You got to understand that when the field gets qualified, they're only separated by about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. these guys aren't real slow. They're just much slower than the, I mean, they're just a little bit slower, but it accumulates. Oh, and look at that. Talk to one of those guys.
Michael Andretti dominating the race here. Again, Hiro, and I'm a little surprised. I guess they have to give him every opportunity to stay on the racetrack, but you wonder what goes through the official's mind, and we do have a new chief steward. Whoa, DeFerrin?
He was locking him up. He got past, I believe, Brian Herta there. He passed Brian Herta. That, I believe, is for a spot.
Dennis Swan taking over as the chief steward of the series at the end of the year.
Look at this. It looks like Brian Herta is slowing some. And look who's going underneath him.
Here comes Al. Here comes Vassar.
Little Al got by
here.
Oh, and who's in the mix? Hiro.
And Vassar was trapped, though.
He was trapped, but we'll have to see how that played out. But that hurt Jimmy a little bit, because for sure there's little Al. He got
He's still trapped.
Vassar's trying, but Brian Herta chopped across him. He's got to be careful here. But Brian's obviously got some kind of a problem to drop 2 spots in about a half a lap.
Now, what happened during the race that dropped you back into his clutches? Because he looked so strong in the beginning.
I got heroed out there.
That is rubber. Of course, you're coming through those corners quick, and there's a lot of scrub going on there.
Slower cars ahead of Paul Tracy, Al Unser Jr., and Parker Johnstone. Trucking Empire based in St. Louis.
This is going to be tricky. Now, there's a back marker right there at the left of your screen. Looks like it's Hiro. Very carefully around the outside of him. That helps, because eventually it just keeps moving the groove up. Next time he does it, he'll be a little quicker around him.
So they have to rely on Jimmy Vassar's seat-of-the-pants feel. They're not sure if he's losing air pressure, but they're ready for a pit stop just in case.
Vassar looked under Hiro Matsushita, thought better of it.
That sometimes is so tough because you're going so quick.
Now Moore may get a run on Vassar as the two of them pull out from behind Matsushita. Vassar in red, Moore in blue.
And he's got traffic right in front of Patrick. Look at this, right there. Paul's going to have a run on him. He doesn't have a fuel problem.
234 laps in the book, 2 laps to go, and Tracy goes into the lead.
Couldn't hold that line and keep his throttle on.
Hiro Matsushita just ahead.
See, look at him closing here. See how he runs through 4? Just so quick through 3 and 4.
See if he can use Matsushita's car. No, Tracy will go low to make the pass on the Japanese driver. And Moore drops back again in 1. Ooh, Matsushita went up high to get out of the way and now is very slow.
Well, I would think that he got up in the gray and the car started walking a little bit on him, and decided he better back out of the throttle and get it back on track.
And Greg Moore just behind him. Mauricio Gugelmin in 3rd, going around Matsushita.
Well, Hiro's certainly not holding up. He was not holding up. And he tried too hard. Got in there too hot under braking, almost lost it. Look at this. Oh!
Now he'll have to be careful getting back on. Meanwhile, up front, Moore, DeFerrin, Moreno, Andretti, and Gugelmin run nose to tail.
And I was just about to make the comment that he wasn't holding anybody up, and then he had his moment.
One of the slower cars, Arndt Meyer, dives for the pit lane, but Hiro Matsushita is still out ahead of our race leader with 7 laps to go. And we saw what happened when Matsushita was pressed by the race leaders earlier. Down the inside goes Gugelmin and takes, and gets around Matsushita. He doesn't take a position from him. And now everyone gets by, it would appear, cleanly. Look at this line of traffic. And Matsushita is out there in front of Al Unser Jr. Unser Jr. runs 8. And now he is around the Japanese driver. Raul Boesel is around him. Parker Johnstone is around him.
If you don't forget, Dario Franchitti's fighting his way through traffic and through guys that he's battling for positions as well. So they don't want to give it up.
Andre Ribeiro with a bright yellow nose on his Reynard. Almost stuck it under Hiro Matsushita as he tried to lap him. And that allows Michael Andretti right there to draw right up on Ribeiro's gearbox.
And Greg Moore.
More on Gilles de Ferran now with Gary.
And the team continues to work, Bob. They think they've isolated the problem in the throttle linkage. They're trying to replace it. It's been several laps now, but they're still determined to get out there and hope that perhaps they can chase some points.
Gaps at the line, but of course they will ebb and flow as the drivers make their way around. Hiro Matsushita on the right, yellow helmet.
Mark really needed to get by there. I'm sorry, Bob. He really needed to get back there. That's going to give Zanardi a chance to close up. Mark, look at this. 2 corners. He's lost a lot of ground right there. He needs to get by him right here in this spot.
Oh, look at Zanardi eating up that lead for Mark Blundell as Blundell continues to follow Matsushita.
Oh, this is very critical.
Now Matsushita waves them by on the right side.
But both of them got by.
Backed into the wall, the part of the racetrack we just left. Rahal going underneath Hiro Matsushita as the lapping begins.
But as we see, what that allowed Jimmy Vasser to do was move up on him.
There's de Ferran. Hiro Matsushita just ahead, driving his last race here on the streets of Long Beach. He'll climb out of the car after the Rio 400. Now de Ferran gets around. Castro Neves. Now Brian Herta will be behind.
Oh, and that hurt him because Brian wanted to get through there because he was in touch with the front 2 cars. Didn't want to take a chance there. We've seen Michael drive, but he didn't want to take a chance. Too much at stake this late in the game.
Oh, look at that line of cars. Now we do the conga line at over 180 miles an hour through the kink. Matsushita on the right, braking for turn 1. Herta gets through, Franchitti gets through. Scott Pruitt will now be behind the Japanese driver. Now check out the fuel window. Castro Neves in second place.